We are live.
Did it pop up?
Checking amazingfreedom.com.
Looks like it's up now.
Hey, what's happening, everyone? We are excited to be sharing with you tonight with Gaye Lisby, Leron, Nathan, and myself. And so this is my counsel to you, all right? Don't buy Bitcoin. Don't buy cryptocurrency, right? Put your money where you know it can be made, and that's selling on Amazon. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Specifically, we're going to talk about online arbitrage, retail arbitrage. We're going to talk about Gaye's awesome group that she started a month ago that has members who've never sold anything on Amazon or already selling, that has great daily finds that the members are getting. So we're going to discuss a variety of things. We're going to talk about back to school, right? That's coming up. Like, you probably should either be actively getting that inventory now, or you should already have it. We're going to be talking about Halloween. We're going to be talking about bundles. And then, of course, we're going to be talking about the gold mine of fourth quarter. So I used to do a weekly show on Sunday nights. I'm not sure why, but on Sunday nights, I actually start looking forward to the week now because how much I love selling on Amazon. So hopefully if you're selling or you're thinking about selling, you'll be able to get to that point too, where sometimes, you know, folks that have to go to a 9-to-5 job, or even if you have to go to a 9-to-5 job and you're just selling part-time, that's all right too, because you can look forward to what you're going to be doing on your side hustle, which should become your full-time hustle. So that is the intro tonight. Nate, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Awesome. So thanks for introing us. I'm Nathan Slamans. Let's just talk about everyone real quick. We have Andy, of course, who's just talking. I'm Nathan Slamans. We have Leron Hirschkorn, if you want to say hi real quick, Leron.
Hey, everybody. What's going on?
And then we have Gaye Lisby, who Andy already introduced, arbitrage and wholesale and all around Amazon wizard who has been doing awesome things. And she's going to be sharing some really cool information with us tonight about specifically arbitrage and some of those opportunities that Andy just talked about coming up. So really, guys, all three of us, Andy, Leron, and myself, started selling on Amazon with arbitrage, right? I think everyone's familiar in our community, in our circle, not everyone, most people are familiar with arbitrage, the practice of buying from retail stores and selling on Amazon for profit is ideally, right? For profit is the goal. And basically that's how we all got started. Retail arbitrage, going to stores like, everyone name their favorite store. Andy, what was your favorite arbitrage? I don't think you liked retail arbitrage at all.
No, I had a favorite one. It was like an Amish grocery store, you know, so they would get like, you know, leftovers or scratch and dent stuff. I made a killing. One of my biggest ones right here in the first 5 minutes, I'm giving you a bolo. All right. One of the biggest ones, I would buy palletfuls of Crystal Light. Right. So Amazon folks, people shop on Amazon. They love their Crystal Light. So I would buy pennies on the dollar, and, you know, I was making thousands.
Awesome. So, hey, real quick, if you guys are listening, I see we have a number of people listening. If you can hear us and the audio is good, sometimes we have audio issues with these live. So if you can just in the comments say audio is good, or yes, I can hear you good. Something like that. It helps us make sure that our mics are working the way. We don't want to go 20 minutes or 30 minutes and find out that it's no good. So if you can just let us know that it's going well, that's good. So Andy's had Crystal Light. I remember there was one issue Andy had with that. If you go to our YouTube channel, actually look for Andy Slamans, and you'll see an old video that Andy did about an issue Andy had with his Crystal Light. It
wasn't Crystal Light. It was Mio.
That's right. It was Mio's, which is like Crystal Light, right? Yeah. You drop it in your water. Okay, so I was confused, but go look up our YouTube channel and you'll see what happened with this Mio's and what the resolution was. So my favorite thing, or not my favorite, but my arbitrage moment. All right, I've said this I think in the last webinar we did, but who was around when the Frozen era, I'll just call it that, the era of Frozen, Andy's raising his hand, where Frozen was hot, which is like a oxymoron, right? But I think my first year of doing arbitrage a lot, I sold, I profited like, you know, probably $25,000, $30,000, which for me at the time was a lot of money. I was in college still. I know some people, like David Hawkins, some other people, that was like peanuts for them. Even they did way more than that. So for me though, Frozen was awesome, which Walmart, I think at the time was my biggest source online. I was getting it from, and actually Amazon was a big source too. Amazon, the Amazon flips, right? Which I'll lead into Liron because Liron was kind of A to A flips guru there for a while. He was really good at them. So Liron, what was your favorite arbitrage source?
Yeah, I mean, for retail arbitrage, I used to do really well going to outlet stores. Really well, have a pretty good outlet about 20 miles from me. So I used to go to like the Crocs outlet store, Stride Ride shoes when they had stores. They're all closed down, but manager used to let me just come in the back and just like scan the back before they put stuff in clearance. So I did really, really well. They used to call me. Nike was very good. But yeah, Amazon to Amazon flips, I used to, spend thousands of dollars every month just on, probably 7,000 to 10,000 a month just on, buying from Amazon.
Awesome. So all three of us have had a heavy interest in arbitrage. We still think it's an awesome model, but all three of us don't do quite as much of it anymore because we're just focused on our private label efforts, as a lot of people know. But that doesn't mean that arbitrage isn't still a great business model for tons of Amazon sellers, right? And we knew that, and we had a lot of people in the groups who were doing arbitrage and who wanted to start arbitrage, but we weren't really able to give them the attention or the direction that we would like to, not because we don't know how to do it. We all have had success with it, but just because, like I said, our focus is kind of on private label. So because of that, what we did is we had Gaye Lisby, who is an awesome member of our community, super nice lady, and rock star Amazon seller, who did put up some awesome numbers last year. I'll let her tell you what they were again, because I'll probably mess it up. But she put up some awesome numbers. And she came to us basically, or we came to her, she came to us, and we were like, hey, we should, really help a lot of the Amazing Freedom members that are wanting to get into arbitrage, but are kind of struggling because, like anything, there's a learning curve, right? There's a learning curve to private label, wholesale, arbitrage. They all have a little bit of a learning curve. But the thing that's so great about arbitrage is that you don't need tons of capital to get started, right? With wholesale and private label, there is some level. It's not crazy like compared to any other business that I can think of starting, right? Brick and mortar, especially, it's nothing even compared to that. But there is still some capital restraints or levels that you have to hit at least. So because of that, a lot of our members that are getting started like to start with arbitrage like we did. And Gaye is doing an awesome job in her business with that. And Gaye, I'll let you tell more about this, but you were a teacher for a long time. You're really great helping other people. Not only can you do the process yourself, but you know how to, show other people how to do it as well. And that's a talent. That's a skill not everyone has, right? To be able to actually put what you do and help other people to do that as well. So because of that, we've been working with Gaye. She's been doing an awesome job. We'll talk more about that later after we talk about some tips and tricks and some upcoming opportunities about arbitrage. So basically, Gaye, I'm going to have you kind of go over what you kind of think the present arbitrage situation is for new sellers, and maybe some tips and tricks that you have for us about arbitrage.
Right. Thanks, Nate. You know what? He always leaves out the part that, because he talks about how awesome I am and, retired teacher and blah, blah, blah. And that's all juice. That's just nice. But he always leaves out the menopausal grandma part. I'm not quite sure why he just, he's
I'm not touching that, Gaye. I'm not going to.
But this old menopausal grandma, she just spent since Wednesday evening until early this afternoon chasing the 21-month-old around because my son and daughter-in-law celebrated their 10-year anniversary, and my son is a coach for a Christian school in Liberty, Missouri, and so he brought his boys down for the basketball camp that was going on in Branson, and so I had the baby, and talk about energy zapper. Jeez, man, I was like, Nate, I have so much more respect, and Liron, I got so much more respect for you guys. I mean, I've refreshed my respect. I raised 4 kids of my own, all 4 in a row, and so I know something about chasing people, but not at that speed. man, 21 months old, and that kid can flat churn out the miles. And anyway, so she wore me out. But I'll tell you what, it's exciting to go into the stores today and just scan through like crazy. Colleen and we've got online arbitrage and retail arbitrage down where we know exactly what we're looking for. And so we're like a 21-month-old going through Tuesday morning, like my little granddaughter did yesterday. She walked in to the store and she looks around and she looks to everybody. There's everybody in the store looking at her because she's this tiny little person that has this ginormous personality. And she goes, "Oh, wow." And she was so enthusiastic about everything. And she's going and she's scanning. She doesn't have a phone. She doesn't have an app, but she's scanning because she knows exactly what she's looking for. So Colleen and I have done that same thing in RA and in OA as well. So we know what's selling out there. We know where there's some niches that Andy calls it niches for the riches. And, while I absolutely agree, PL is the space you really need to move in when you can. I will say that RA and OA is the most excellent way for you to do a number of things where you can set a massive foundation for your success. And I really feel like our story proves it because, we're not techno wizards like these boys are. These guys know how to push buttons. I'm always like, Facebook and Nathan, I'm like, what link do I send them? What did I think I messed up your Zoom, and I'm panicking. And so I don't know that sort of stuff, but I do know what sells because we've been through those seasons. And so we know what sells out there. So in RA and OA, there's kind of rumor going around for a while that RA is dead. Well, what kind of happened was a lot of people were moving into OA, so online arbitrage, and they're sitting at home punching the computer and running their programs, OA X-ray, tactical arbitrage. It's all good. It's wonderful. But they're really not just getting up off the couch and going out into, as Leron mentioned, the outlet stores and just your regular brick and mortar stores. Big Lots just had a opportunity for people to clean up on some inventory and, going into TJ Maxx and just going through. That's the kind of thing that we share in our group. We share the kind of, little tricks and tips that help make you able to go through a store very quickly and just get the juice out and go right on and get on back. I'm always saying in our group too, pack another box, ship another box. Come on, I know you're tired. You're about to go to your 9 to 5 tomorrow morning, some of you, and you're like, if I can only be like Andy and Leron and Nathan and these guys, and you just get to where that's my full-time hustle, as Andy says. You can do it. And the thing is, you just got to keep pumping in inventory. And RA and OA, I'll just give you a little spoiler on that. It just literally is a spoiler. Oh, note, Sophie the cat. Okay. Side note, poor Sophie. She's as tired as I was today because the little 21-month-old, my little Adelaide, she would get up every morning and she would like, Saucy, and she would chase that poor cat around the house and want to give her toys. She didn't understand why Sophie would not play with her Daniel Tiger and Katarina Kitty Cat. And I didn't understand it either because I thought Sophie should be a little more accommodating.
Gaye, we have a good question here. Maybe I'll jump in, and it's from Jared. He says, you mentioned knowing exactly what you're going to get when you go to the store. Do you search for items ahead of time on the computer and then make a list, or how do you know what to look for once you get to the store?
Well, we know in categories. We don't know what we might find in retail arbitrage, and that's a really good question. But we know in categories, like there's certain stores that we had right to purses and shoes. There are other stores that we had right to, can I say this in mixed company? Undergarments, foundation. Yeah. Yeah. But boy, they sell. Okay. Keyword Spanx. You know, it's hard to get ungated, but unrestricted. And we'll talk about unrestricted here in just a minute. But anyway, certain stores you can go through and you'll see that they have certain areas that are more lucrative than others. You know, I just went to Walmart the other day. Their last season Legos are marked down, were heavily marked down in our particular store. And also Target, for example, our Target store sometimes gets product, and this happens at other Target stores too. They sometimes get product that they don't normally get. In other words, it was misshipped to them. And so it's not normally part of their inventory. So our Target store, for example, would just automatically put it on clearance and get it out because they don't have the shelf space to accommodate that. So you can find brand new Legos. We were able to find brand new Legos that were first edition, that they were this season's edition, that they were already 50% off, some 60% off. And so we know in certain stores, we know what we're looking for.
Do you negotiate? I mean, or do you advise people to try to negotiate? I've heard, I never had great success with it like at Walmart, but I always heard certain Walmarts do like negotiate, or the manager can discount if you buy out, like, you know.
Well, I'll tell you what I found out on that. Now, if you go to the more rural Walmarts, so if you live in suburbs or cities, it's a little harder to do unless you put in some miles. But if you go to those rural Walmarts where the managers are trying to make their sales goals for the month or sales goals for the quarter, and you know, if you think about it, just go toward the end of the quarter, and you'll see clearance. You'll see also some markdowns, and it's not necessarily clearance items. But you can go and talk to them. The rural Walmart stores are more likely to make better bargains, almost without exception. You know, the city stores or the places that are more populated, you know, you don't have that success. But always in the rural stores, it's easier to do too, because those managers are easier to get a hold of and they're easier to approach. They're a lot more accommodating. So
hey, Tracy has a couple comments. Tracy's actually in your group, Gaye. I know.
Awesome.
She says online items returned to Target automatically get marked down too, usually, or the store that she goes to. So that's another tip, you know, if people order online and then return them. And then she says also that Walmart has negotiated with me a few times on some items when she was doing her eBay stuff. So, and I know we have in our group, anyone that's in the Amazing Freedom group, Todd Day is a killer RA seller. He sells up some PL stuff too now, but killer RA seller who is that's kind of his forte, I think, is he's really great at going into, I think, primarily Walmart's because he used to work there actually, and going in and negotiating. So he's got a little bit of, you know, background knowledge on the systems probably.
Right.
So Gaye, I know, you know, we want to talk a little bit about bundles and the back to school, but when should people start? I mean, is it too hard to predict maybe what toys are going to be, you know, hot toys, let's say for Q4 that maybe you should, if you see them now, you should get them? Or when should you kind of start looking for those things to kind of build up your inventory for Q4?
Yeah, definitely now. And we put up some notices in our group about that too. I've, you know, popped on and given people some thoughts about stuff that's going to come up and looks real good for Q4. To a certain degree, there's some speculation. So like, you got to go with it because the speculation is you don't know how many units are going to come into the platform. You can't foresee that, but you can, to a certain degree, foresee how hot that item is going to be. For example, Wonder Woman they're going to push that one hard. They've got a lot of inventory. The manufacturer has a lot of inventory, and they're going to push that hard for the toy season Q4, and, you know, empower the women, you know, make sure the little girls are playing with powerful toys, et cetera, et cetera. So that kind of thing's going to get pushed real hard. And also, you know, knowing what's trending, you know, if you sign up for some of those blogs that like Comic-Con is always promoted on, and learn what kind of trends are happening. For example, I kind of set you up with this one when I posted in my group, and I don't know if you put any of that in your group, Andy, or not, but The Princess Bride, the movie, The Princess Bride, is the 25th anniversary of The Princess Bride is this fall. And so that goes really well with Q4 selling season. You got all your kids, your 30-somethings and your 40-somethings or whatever that fell in love, over that movie, and so there's a lot of emotional attachment to that movie, and it transcends into stuff for gifts. So anyway, Princess Bride is going to be hot, and all the items that's going to come out with that is hot. Vander has that. If you can get an account with Vander, you would do really well, I think, on some of that.
And I know, within your group, you're always kind of given some of those tips and like stuff to watch out for. I think, Liron, I don't know if it was you who told me you did this in the past. I know there's some like YouTube channels once it starts getting closer to Q4. It's people who like review like trending toys for their kids. And I can't remember if it was you that told me that. I knew someone in one of our groups said that they actually found a really hot Q4 item last year before most people did, because they were like watching this YouTube video that talked about trending toys. Was that you, Liron, or someone else?
It wasn't me, but I'll bring up something that now that you mentioned that, something similar that I've always, done in Q4. Last year, Q4 was all private label. And so I didn't do this. But following Twitter, following Keepa on Twitter, you can see what people are tracking, right? And you can see what toys people are looking for and waiting for price drops. And the more, those are good signals to see what Amazon like suddenly drops the price on or goes out of stock on. And that's, as it gets closer to Q4, that's something I've always done in the past, is follow Keepa on Twitter, and also follow the deals page. And that's, some of how I've done Amazon flips. But, and that's a tip that I got from, reading Chris Green's online arbitrage group, to follow Keepa on Twitter. So that's something you should set up a tab on your browser and start looking at and see kind of what toys, what things are people kind of looking at that might be hot later on for Q4, but also you can find those trends of products that Amazon might be going in and out of stock on that are difficult for them to keep in stock. But following the toys thing on YouTube is another great idea. And, I don't know, we should probably talk a little bit about bundles. I know maybe Andy could talk a little bit about, how bundles are in a way maybe similar to private label.
Sure. So I love how some of the members in your group, Gaye, are already asking about bundles. So some of them have just started selling on Amazon and they're interested and intrigued by it. Yeah, bundles are a great opportunity because you can create your own unique product. And if you're smart, you can do it with different, bundled products together, that it makes it really hard for other sellers to try to jump on your listing, which means you have the buy box 100% of the time, which means that you are selling like a private label seller, like you and I do, right?
So who here that's in Gaye's group would like Gaye and Andy, myself, Nate, would love to do a webinar for the group on creating your own listings, copywriting keywords, and how to sort of dominate the competition through bundles. So if you're in the group, or if you're looking to join the group, if there's interest, then that's something that we'll do. There was a seller actually recently that's in our private label group, in our inner circle group, who also does arbitrage. And for Easter, he set up a listing, and it just wasn't selling. And he said to me, "Hey, can you take a look at this listing and tell me what you would do?" And I gave him like a few tips on keywords and his title. And then suddenly it started selling and he sold out of it. So there's a big difference in, what you could do when you have the right keywords that people are searching for. And when you make your copy and your title, let's say, and your bullets like 10 times better than your competition. And that, along with our, we also have our image service that we could take those, that bundle picture that you take and make it like a killer listing together, is a combination that you can really dominate. what other people aren't doing and what they don't know. So something like back to school, that's a great, a great thing to do. And yeah, it looks like some people are interested. So, that's something that we'll do in the group.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of yeses here for that. And then I also saw a comment, Gaye, from Terry saying, confirming what you said. He said he was used to living in a rural area and he was able to negotiate with Walmarts, and then he moved to a big city and they like laughed at him when they asked for it. So
same thing.
When I asked about it,
Leron, I was going to add something to that. You said about back to school bundles. And I just want to say to people to expand your vision on that, not your vision, Leron, but their vision. Because normally when you're thinking of back to school bundles, you're thinking of backpack and some little kid and what to put in the backpack and lunch pail.
You mean and the kid also?
Yeah, put the kid in the backpack. On any given day, that's a good strategy for a bundle. No, but college, kids going off to college. You've got freshmen that are going off to college. You got grandmas and grandpas halfway across the country. They're aware of this kind of coming of age moment, and they want to do something. They want to say something. They want to send a message to that kid. And there's an opportunity for a college bundle. Or
so what are you putting in a college bundle?
Well, like
besides like condoms.
Definitely.
I had to go there.
Wow. So yes, what college kids are needing to, I'm thinking about my kids. Every one of my kids, they all went to college 1 year after another. So they're all in a row. So every one of the kids, they got to October, sometime in October, and I would get that call and it would be like, Mom, this is too hot. And they weren't crying, but they were almost crying because they were like, But there's what message can you send to that kid? That kid that's, still a kid, but they're trying to be a grown up. And there's lots of products you can send to them. Obviously, snacks are one of those. And, lots of things that you can send to that child / there might even be like something from their favorite movie, a mug that has the saying from their favorite movie, or some little knick-knack toy. My son is a computer programmer in Houston, and by his computer, he still has his Ninja Turtle from when he was 3. So these kinds of things that speak messages, you can put those kinds of things in bundles, as well as some of the stuff that's just necessary for the daily doing business in college. And what a cool thing to think about those college age kids, because then you can get into money that's a little bit higher, because you think, well, if I'm going to buy something for an 18-year-old, I'm going to spend more money than if I'm going to buy something for a 5-year-old. So you already have your customer already has a preconceived idea of a price point there. So anyway, just to add to that. And so Leron, guys, we definitely want to book you for that bundle opportunity, because we got to do it now. Let's do it now.
Right. So back to school is a great opportunity. I have a story about that as well. And back to school is coming up really quick. So if you want to do that, you really need to start jumping on it now. If you need to get that bundle together, set it into Amazon. And, the thing with seasonal, like holidays and stuff like that, is that it really, there is like a couple weeks where it really is prime time, but still you want to be thinking about it beforehand and get it in there. So definitely jump on that ASAP if you're thinking about it. But then we'll also try to get that webinar with the group to give some tips on that. So my mother-in-law, who is similar situation to Gaye, she's about your same age, Gaye, and she's not the most tech savvy.
Menopausal also.
I won't, again, I'm not going there, but I'll say similar situation. And yeah, exactly.
With a coupon.
Fan yourself. Yeah, with the coupon. So she wanted to do a back to school bundle last year. She did all of the sourcing and put all the products together in the bundle. I think she had about 25, 30. individual pieces in her back to school bundle. But again, she doesn't like to create listings, and I've never done a webinar with her teaching her how. So she just had me create it for her. And so I created that listing for her. But it didn't really do nothing super special about the listing. And the photos actually were just plain white background. Didn't even do any like lifestyle images, nothing cool like we do at amazingfreedom.com/magic, our service. It wasn't even anything like that. But I think she sent in about 50 to 70 bundles units. So nothing crazy, but a good amount, right? And they were a high price point though. They were selling, I think about $75 was the sales price. So this was, 25, 30 pieces. This is a good size bundle. And this is the thing. At first, it takes a little bit to get rolling. You're kind of like, are these going to sell? And by the end of, before school really started for most people, and this is the thing you have to consider too, different parts of the country start school at different times. So right. I know a lot of, I think like the West Coast start earlier, like especially like the South, like Arizona and Texas. I think like some of those hotter places start school earlier. I'm in Michigan, and they don't go back till after Memorial Day or Labor, which I'm trying to think. So they don't go till after then, September. So it's later, but you have to consider other parts of the country. So that's why you want to start getting started by August and this is the thing, back to school, August is like the real hot time, right? Early, mid-August. So, but yeah, we put our bundle together. All of them sold out. We had, I think I was kind of frustrated because the day or the day after that I created the listing, before her units even got to the warehouse, actually, someone had jumped on our listing. So I want to say that's because I made the listing good, that, it got ranked, people are seeing it already, but I was kind of, frustrated with it. But here's a tip on that, and something she's going to probably do this year. Another person that's a part of our private label course actually did a back to school bundle as well. And what she did, and it might be too late for you for back to school, but if you do a bundle for Halloween or Christmas or next year, right? She had her own little custom made stickers that said like her bundle. She made up like a bundle brand name and a custom made sticker that she put on her box that she had. Now, what does that mean? Technically, for any Amazon listing, and this goes for arbitrage or private label or wholesale, if something comes in a basket or a box and it has some kind of branding on it, right? Your product, your bundle needs to match that in order to match the listing, right? Now, some people kind of try to break the rules, but that's how it's supposed to be. So if you have in your listing and on your, in your images, your sticker, it could be as simple as a sticker on a box. The other listings or the other sellers that try to go on there should have that same thing. And if they don't, you could, try to report them to Amazon or something. So that's kind of a little easy tip that could cost you very, very little, right? Like it should be less than 50 cents a dollar per bundle or, unit you send in. That's a great way to kind of protect yourself from those. This is what we call them in private label terms, hijackers, right? They're hijacking your listings. So arbitrage people don't deal with that much, but that's why, like Andy was saying, and Andy's kind of coined this term in the past, bundles is like the poor man's private label, because it's not the full deal of private label, but it's, pretty close, and it gives you really great experience for that as well. So Gaye, anything to add to that or anything else you've seen?
Yeah, no, that's excellent. I mean, there's real value in doing bundles because on every level, I mean, my teacher background is just coming up in me right now because every aspect of that translates so easily to your PL experience. And the whole point of our group is to get people ready to transcend over into PL and get that confidence. For some, it's just a matter of confidence. Maybe they have the capital, but they don't have that confidence because they don't feel like they've mastered key skills. And that's a really easy, low-cost way to do a trial run on your skill set and then know what kind of skills you want to add to that before you go on into your PL. So, bundles is a great thing. Also, remember that back-to-school bundles are not the only kind of bundles we can talk about. There's going to be fall break bundles. There's going to be teacher bundles. Teachers would love to have something like this. There's parents out there who want to support their teachers. And so there's lots of opportunities for bundles in many other ways. And that also goes into vacation time. When people are heading to to the beach for Christmas vacation or whatever vacations they're taking, there needs to be some bundles for that. So you can just plug it, play it, and have it right there at the condo ready when your 21-month-old hits the sand. Yeah, because they're going to do it fast. Right, Ron?
Oh, yeah. We're in the middle of 2 days of heavy-duty potty training right now. So, yeah.
I'll pray for you, buddy.
Thank you.
That's all the way to get through that.
Thank you. Nate, Terry's asking, I want to join your RA group. So one, I wanted to know, I know we had a limit of people. Is there space? And if there is, how do people join?
Yeah, so we do have a couple of spots. Gaye does to her group. We Gaye puts a limit on the group. We help her with setting up a lot of the details, but it's Gaye's group that she runs. And the reason she has a limit, and we'll actually talk about some of the details in the group just in a couple minutes when we finish some of these tips. But the reason there's a limit is because one, Gaye spends a lot of time and attention really with individual members, almost, answering questions and trying to, it's almost like a mentorship thing, right? And beyond just what the group is. And so if the group gets too big for that, that could be an issue. But then the other thing is there's a really awesome list that gets that gets sent out to members every single day, Monday through Friday, that has really great actionable finds that they can actually go online and buy, boom, right that day. And I think in the last week, they were on average sending 8 of those at least a day, which is really, really strong, right? That's super valuable because like Gaye just mentioned, a lot of, for the members, it's a confidence thing, right? Like, I don't know what to buy, or, I don't know, if it's a good buy or not. So having this list every day and just being able to go see some profitable finds, and we'll talk about those more in just a minute, is super valuable. And another reason the group is limited is because you don't want too many people getting those finds, right? So the group is limited to 50 core members at this time. That are, paying to be part of the group. And if it ever expands beyond that 50, then those separate people would get a different list, right? So that their fines wouldn't be too saturated. But that being said, there is a couple of spots. I think we have 8 open spots right now. So if you are interested in this, maybe one of you can type this into the comments. Yep. Liron already did. It's amazingfreedom.com /arbitrage. Okay. So that is the link. You'll see some more information about what Gaye's group entails and what's involved. And there's actually a 7-day trial now, 7-day free trial. If you just want to test it out and see what the group's like, you can do that. So we'll give some more details on that in just a moment here. So I think Terry got that up. All right. Awesome. So any more questions about back to school or anything else you want to add to that? I know it's coming up quick, and we'll try to do that webinar here soon. But I think, this is a really great opportunity that I don't think enough people take advantage of, because it's one of those things. It's not like a holiday, right? It's an event, but it's not a holiday. So I think we as sellers kind of forget about it, don't really think about it, but it is a really cool opportunity to kind of get your feet wet with bundles and get started. Yeah.
And I just want to add that this next webinar that, I'll be doing with Gaye, where we do talk about copywriting, creating your own listings. This is kind of the same stuff that I'm going to be doing a webinar in our inner circle group. And, people paid $2,000 to get that course. And so, it's really valuable content that we'll be adding to the group, and will give you the ability to really differentiate, even if you sell the exact same product, differentiate your product from somebody else's, and get more traffic to your listings and more sales than your competition when you're creating bundles. Hey,
Liron, another real quick story. Another member of our course last year was doing back to school bundle, and similar to what you said before, she came to me and she's like, my bundle isn't really selling. Is there any tips you can give me? And I said, yeah, let me look at your listing. And she had never made a listing before, which nothing wrong with that. I know, Andy, you were selling on Amazon for a couple of years before you ever made your first listing, right? Nothing wrong with that, because there's billions of listings already on there to make money on, right? But I took a look at her listing, and I realized that, in the back end, you have a field called search terms, right? And she had left that blank, which the reason, especially at the time, that was a big deal was because basically she wasn't putting in keywords. So search terms are keywords or searches that customers would, be able to search for certain words that would help them find your listing, it was blank. So I gave her a list to try to help her out of, 20, 30 keywords. She put those in, and then within just 2 or 3 days, she started picking up sales. So those are the kind of tips that Liron's going to share on that webinar. That's just a simple version. And then beyond that too, if you know how to make a listing, but you want to be better at it, he'll talk about that too. So yeah, good stuff there.
Yeah, that's why we get excited. That's why I get excited in my group when I can have you guys on, because I'm like, this is huge. This is huge money. I don't, if you're in my group and you're listening right now, you understand when I'm grabbing these guys and when I'm able to tap them for a little bit of time and go, hey, can you help us with this? This is huge money, because people are paying lots of money to hear these guys talk at conferences. We went to Rocky Mountain Reseller Conference, and there's whole rooms full of people who want to hear these guys talk and add their value to their lives. So for us to have access to them, for me to even just to get to message them and say, hey, help, whatever, that's huge, and it's an awesome value. The other thing is,
well, you didn't mention that you were on a panel with us, at Rocky Mountain. So we're privileged to be able to work with Gaye.
I was going to put a disclaimer on that panel. I was going to put a disclaimer up there that said, menopausal grandma hangs with rock stars, and I, just to see what it's awesome. Hey, for those of you who don't know my story, if you're here and you're like, well, I don't know anything about Gaye's group, and why should I even join? She's a retired teacher. And so, okay, well, fine. I know a bunch of teachers that are retired. What does that mean? And it didn't really mean anything. When I came out of teaching and I'm looking for a space to settle in and a way to make a living, to move forward, had a major life change. And when you're in the midlife, and the rug gets pulled out from under you, and you've got to figure out how to go on by yourself, then you get real creative. And unfortunately, I had an online mentor that kind of hooked me up with the Amazon scene. And I was so fortunate last fall to be able to meet these guys, the Three Musketeers, down in Kentucky, and really made a connection with them. And I just appreciate and value them so much, because they have a work ethic that is like mine, just really willing to, as Andy says, hustle, and trust your hustle. Get out there and really just, do it and keep doing it and press repeat. And, there was some open doors made to me, and had access to a lot of RA and OA finds. And one of the things that happened in my community, we're a tourist community. And so we have lots of retail. I mean, retail is one of the things people do on vacation. That's part of their entertainment package. And so we have huge amounts of retail here. And also within that, you have a certain level of turnover. So there are stores that are going out of business from time to time in the off season. And one of the great things that happened to me was that a shoe store was going out of business. And we were able to buy thousands, tens of thousands, actually, I think it was well over 20,000 by the time the buy was done, worth of inventory there for just dimes on the dollar, and just made a killing on that. Also, we were able to find a beauty supplier that had access to a product. Now, I'll tell you this little side note, I'm not exaggerating, but there was a jar of cream, and it's about this big. I had no idea what it was. It's anti-aging cream. I had no idea when the supplier brought it. He said, I don't even know what it is. If you can do something with it, fine. I created a listing on eBay and tested that product. And that's one of the things that we do in our group too, is dive into eBay. So what I did was tested that product on eBay in an auction. I was like, because Colleen said, I think that could really go, because I saw a late night infomercial for it. I was like, I never even heard of it. So put it on eBay, and darned if that jar of, I think it was 10 ounces or whatever, that jar of cream literally sold for $149 on auction. And I was like, what? In my basement, I have an entire section of my basement with boxes of that that the supplier was like, I don't know if you can do anything with it or not, but try, and then just settle up with me on the backside, I know you'd be fair with it. I was like, are you kidding me? So I created a listing on Amazon, and I didn't know nothing. I mean, what these boys know, I didn't even know a fraction of that. I barely knew what a keyword was or how to find search terms. I didn't know anything like that. And I just kind of stumbled around and put a listing together. And darned if that one product, and there's 5 in that family of products, that 10-ounce cream is kind of the mainstay of it. But that one product is responsible for paying off our mortgage in 1 year. We were blown away. That's the power of getting into this Amazon platform and looking for opportunity and then going beyond your comfort zone. And in 2016, that was 2015 when we started selling that cream. We paid off our mortgage in 1 year. In 2016, we sold almost $1.7 million on Amazon. And we're just 2 menopausal grandmas that hardly know what we're doing. We're just kind of stumbling along behind these guys. I want to catch up with them every once in a while and just, get an idea on PL, because, obviously that's where everybody wants to head eventually, because Andy is so good at selling the idea of PL. Yeah, are you kidding?
We have a question on I'll address this because it's something that Nate and I were actually talking about in the last week. So Carrie Ann's asking, with bundles, is a UPC needed? So a couple of things. One, there's a thing on Amazon. I haven't tested this yet, I'll say, but there's an area on Amazon called GTIN exemption, where you can actually request Amazon to exempt you from needing a UPC. Now, one of the things, the reason I bring it up is because one of the things they specifically mention is bundles, is a reason to ask. So you could try that. And if that doesn't work for bundles that are, just in RA/OA items, I'd probably buy cheap UPC. If you're doing private label, I'd probably say maybe, you need to pay for GS1 and for brand registry and things like that. But for just bundles, if that GTIN exemption doesn't work, then, you could probably just get away with buying cheap UPCs.
And so in that webinar we do about creating a listing, we'll talk more about that, give some tips on it in the link and all that. We'll talk about more, and then where you can get some cheap UPC codes too, if you want to go that route. We'll get both those tips. And I want to mention real quick here, I see Deborah, who says it's a great group. She's a part of your group, Gaye. And then Tracy's also in your group. She says, yes, great group. She also said, I love the daily, I'm paraphrasing here now because it went away from me, but I love the daily finds that we get. They also help me find other products, right? So not only is she being able to buy that inventory, but she's able to almost get on rabbit trails to other products, right? And that's the power of having a list like that. So, hey guys, I kind of want to transition here for those who are watching and want to see more or learn more about Gaye's group and how to join it. I know we already mentioned, but let me just share my screen quick here so that we can share everything that is involved with Gaye's group. That's been going awesome. So Gaye, remind me, I think the group started early June. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was June. Yeah.
Okay. So it's about a month and a half now. It's been going awesome. Gaye and Colleen are just killing it. They are in there every day giving great tips and doing webinars. They don't even, I see stuff flying through there. I can hardly keep up trying to do my own business and other stuff. I can't keep up with it really. So, but I know she's doing an awesome job. So if you decide you want to join Gaye's Arbitrage group, basically you get access to a done-for-you inventory sourcing. That's because you get those daily finds Monday through Friday delivered right to your inbox. There's a limited number of people who are seeing these, and they're all, and this isn't like those lists that you see advertised out there. Nothing against other people's lists that are like top 5% of a category or something. That's not what these are. These are vetted, really good products that are top quality, top any kind of list group or list that's available out there. These are in the top there. And like I said, 5 to 10 of those. Lately, it's been over 8 averaging a day. You also get group mentorship by Gaye Lisby, who is a 7-figure seller, more than just 7 figures. She did 1.7. Gaye, what was the eBay number you did last year? Like 100,000?
Over 100,000. I don't remember the exact number, but it's like between 120 and 140,000, I think, on both eBay accounts.
Yeah, what's a few 10,000 to someone like Gaye, right?
Well, I roll that into my total, my I think of in terms of my total year end.
Gotcha. So, but to the average Amazon seller, that'd be an awesome annual sales for Amazon, right? And Gay's doing that on eBay too. So, just a wealth of knowledge. And she's modest, so she tries to say she stumbles her way through, but she knows a lot of stuff. She's a smart lady. So, you get group mentorship from her, and then you get the monthly ongoing education, just like what Liran was talking about. We're going to be, we'll come on and share some great listing tips, how to create a listing that's basically private label, almost quality, but a bundle. So which means, that most bundle sellers aren't doing private label quality stuff, right? So we'll show you how to do that. And then I know Liran was going to come on and talk about Amazon flips a little bit and stuff. So great webinar. Yeah, and Gaye, you've already done a webinar with other people that are successful sellers, I know. Yeah. So lots of stuff going through there. So basically you get all three of those super important things. This is basically more of that where we talk about 5 to 10. And then Gaye, you actually have an example here of some of the numbers from your daily list, because I know this is a great selling point to a lot of people who are thinking about joining your group. They say, getting mentorship is fine, but, can I get that other places? Well, not like this is you can ask some Deborah and Tracy, some of these people, but beyond just that, you get actionable inventory lists, right? And so this is right. Basically a bonus, but it's a super, super powerful bonus for you when you join the group. So Gaye, why don't you explain to us these numbers and what they mean?
Right. So basically, and I can't see the dates on that side, but basically what we've done is made two charts. The first chart started the first week we started offering the daily list. And
sorry, it was like June 10th to 20 something. It did get cut off.
So basically, we've got about a month's worth of daily finds. So every weekday, the finds list comes out. So for example, on that first day on Monday, if you had bought just 2 units of the finds that we listed, I think there were 5 or 6 finds that were listed in the beginning. If you just bought 2 units of that, your retail cost would have been $484.40. And then if you had sold those at the buy box when we posted the find, so what we ask people to do is whatever that buy box is when we post the find, try to list it at that and try to hold at that if you can at all, because you don't want to get caught in that race to the bottom. We did a webinar on that, how to avoid that. If you do get caught in that, or somebody does go with the race to the bottom, just wait and it'll cycle right back up. But your net profit on Monday, if you'd have bought $484.40 in product, your net profit would have been $312.30. So you ventured just a little less than $500, and you put in your pocket, so to speak, a little over $300. That's $300 now that you can add back into your inventory. And so on Tuesday, you buy a little less than $300 worth of inventory in your net profit, and you're building inventory every day, and you're building your net profit. For example, in just that week or 2 weeks, I think, 2-week period of time, if you spent $4,311 in just buying 2 units of each one of the daily finds, you would have netted $2,636.38. Now, here's what spoils people in OA and RA and why they don't like to leave OA and RA and make that transition over into wholesale or even sometimes with PL, because the ROI, return on investment, can be so high. And so you kind of get spoiled to it. You can buy an item for $20 and sell it for $99.99. That starts getting spoiler, but you obviously got to make those finds all the time. And that's why a daily finds list like this is so valuable. So $4,000, a little over $4,000 in the second, or just in the last 13 days. The second chart shows just in the last 13 days, if you spend a little over $2,100 just buying 2 of each unit that we suggested to you, then you would have put back in your pocket $1,288.04 in profit. Okay, so you're making your original investment back plus the profit. Then you roll that back over into more inventory in the next daily finds. So you're going to have an excellent base of product ready for Q4. And I think that's the next thing we're going to talk about.
Yeah, so let me answer a couple questions I see here. Terry said that he joined up. The group is set to a secret mode right now because it's, a close-knit community we have. So if you do sign up, you'll have to reach out to Gaye or one of us to get actually added to the group once you purchase to start your free trial. So just reach out to Gaye or one of us, and we'll get you in. Carrie says, is it both RA and OA? So Gaye really focuses on both of those, but the list, these lists we're looking at right here are just OA finds. So they're actionable. This isn't, stuff that you might be able to find. This is actionable. Get the list, go online, boom, you can buy it if it hasn't run out of stock yet, right? So Ralph asks, what's the sales velocity on these? Like I mentioned before, these aren't like top 5%. Most of the finds, I believe are, and I don't know the exact numbers, they range, but in different category, sales velocity means different things based on the bestseller rank, right? BSR. But most of the BSRs are under 100,000. These are really good, profitable, fast moving products, right? We don't want a product that's ranked 2 million in home and kitchen that's going to sell 1 unit every 3 months, right? These are, go ahead.
I just want to add something to that. When I was new and I started out, on Amazon, I also joined, some groups and lists and, way to get inventory. Some were good and some weren't. And, where as somebody new, where I got sort of bamboozled, maybe is the word, is I joined these groups and they're like top 5%, ranking. And then I would get a listing and it's like 500,000 rank in home and kitchen. And I would say like, wait a second, like, or 400,000 or something rank. And I would say, wait a second, this is never going to, this is going to take 3 months to sell. Last time there was a sale was like 3 or 4 months ago. And the guy, who ran the group said, hey, that's top 5%. And that's when I, exited the group. And so that's I know that's exactly the opposite of what, we want to do with the finds.
Yeah. So like I said, I've been I've seen a number of lists and groups out there as well, Liran, and these are in the top quality of the finds. And it's not just one or two. It's like the whole list is really vetted through. And actually the way it works is a lot of times each day it starts with, I'm not exaggerating here, 60, 70 finds each day. And they get vetted down to 5 to 10, 8, because all those 70, some of those might be in a, 200, 300,000 rank or more, but the ones that get vetted through are really good ranks. So I see here, Tracy says, I've really enjoyed learning how to do OA through these lists too. I was only doing RA before I joined the group. So hopefully that's powerful to hear from someone who's actually in the group. We appreciate that feedback.
Yeah, Nate, and what she's saying right there is she's absolutely doubled her opportunity to make a sale. Actually, for Tracy, because I know she was selling on eBay. She's actually, it more than doubled. But when you're doing RA only, and then you're all of a sudden adding OA from daily finds, that not kidding, in our toys and games finds that we post, it's not uncommon for you to find for us to have finds in there that's going to be an 18,000 or 20,000 or 33,000. And what we're talking about is sales velocity, that product, when you ship, when we say out the door in 24, you prep that and ship that and get that in as fast as you can, because then that sale is made and that money is rolled right back over into inventory, and you're able to grow your business much faster than most people are able to grow their business, especially when they're on those funky lists that Liran was talking about.
Nate, how many, Carrie's asking how many spots are left? I know we had maybe 7 or 8 maybe spots.
Right, we had 7 or 8, and it looks like we've already had 4 or 5 signups since we started this. So there might be 2 or 3 spots left, Carrie. So we'll finish up here in just a little bit, but it looks like 2 or 3 spots left, depending on how I have to actually look once we get done here. So what this slide shows here, we mentioned this earlier, because this group is, there's mentorship, there's these lists involved. We don't want them to get saturated. The group is limited to 50 core paying members into the group. There's some more people in it, like the 4 of us and some Deanna and some other people that help run the group. But for actual members who are looking at these lists, there's 50. And so because of that, it looks like now only 2 or 3 spots left. So you're interested, you'll want to get started here soon. It's $149 per month to those 50 people. However, there is a 7-day free trial. So what you can do is you can join, you can see what the lists are like, right? You can test these lists out. You can test a group, see if it's really all that, like Deborah and Tracy and some of these other people are saying. You can see for yourself. You don't have to take any risk, because you can join and do a 7-day free trial. And if you don't like it, you just reach out to Gaye or to one of us and say, can you please, remove me from the group? No problem.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Keep going.
No, yeah. So Deborah says this group is the missing puzzle piece for me. And Carrie Ann says she loves the out the door in 24. Gay's
hey, Deborah, I want to shout out on Deborah real quick because she's taking action and she's been learning a lot. She's absorbing a lot, and she's a great student. And now she's taking action. And it can be kind of scary when you've not ever done this before, and you're hearing people say this. Will it work? And Lindsay, for example, she made her first sale. She's never sold on Amazon before. She made her first sale because she's in the group. She got the daily finds. She took action. She was like, oh, maybe it'll work for me. Here's the thing: is the numbers work for anybody? You should look at this panel right here and the 4 people pictures that you see on this panel. That this can work for anybody because we all come from all different walks of life and background, et cetera, and skill levels. And it works because the platform is so powerful. I want to say something else in the group too that I think is really helpful. When we keep the group this small, I constantly get a lot of private messages from people in the group, and I appreciate that. And I try to, if I can, translate that question that they might have or concern that they might have over into the group and use that as a coaching opportunity. So literally, lots of people have one-on-one coaching in essence because of what we do in the group. And for people who have never sold on Amazon before or maybe they're stellar sellers. We've got some big sellers in our group in 301 selling level, for example, in our group. They're just packing in the daily finds. They've just got a VA and the VA shops from those daily finds every day. They don't even see it. They don't even have to worry about it. It's just plug and play for them, and they're pushing in inventory for Q4. It's a great way to build a whole nother line of inventory. You don't really have to do any work to do it.
Yeah, a couple of questions, and I just want to mention something. When I started doing RA, I did it out of a New York City apartment. And so if it can be done out of a New York City apartment, I think it can be done anywhere if you have the hustle. But a couple of questions. Carrie Ann wants to know any risk with restricted items or brands. One, and then Ralph is asking, does the list give replenishables or via the group? He's 80% shoes and needs to diversify. So if you could talk about the kind of products maybe, and also like the brands and the restrictions.
And guys, before we get to those questions, I just want to get this up for anyone that is wanting to get in before we fill up the last couple spots. Here is the link. We mentioned it earlier, but you can go to amazingfreedom.com/arbitrage. And it's $149 a month after. And this is a question a lot of people ask, when does that $149 actually charge? It's after the 7-day trial. Okay. So you don't have to worry about it first coming in and then getting refunded or whatever. However, we would fix that if it happened, but it's after. And once that hits, then it's $149 a month as long as you're in, but you can cancel at any time. Deborah says worth every penny. And then I'll let you answer those questions that you have, Gaye, that Liran asked.
Well, I was just going to also say, Nate, on that, can you make sure that they have the wait list, the link to the wait list? Because there's some people who are going to see this a little bit later and they're going to go, oh man, I missed that, but you can be on the wait list. And here's our goal for this too. Well, why are we having openings? We have people transitioning because what we try to do is we're trying to be that booster, to get you going and to get you going fast if you've not ever been selling on Amazon before, or to give you another stream of income like Tracy moving from RA only to RA and OA with daily finds. Then she's got that other stream of income. For larger sellers like the 201 and 301 selling level, to boost them on up to the level where it's you have a living income. You have income that you absolutely can live off of, and that is your hustle, as Andy says. And then then to make that transition out of our group, we're hoping to graduate you out of the group and on into Andy and Liran and Nate's PL course, and to go ahead and fly with your PL. Because the whole goal is to get you up and get you going, and then get you out of the group and get the other ones coming in and build and build and build from there. Certainly, while we have the finds that we have right now, as we increase the daily finds list, and we're doing that, that's going to happen in another month or so, then we'll be able to accept a few more members into the group. But we're taking care of the members that we've got now because we feel like that's important for you to have the ability to succeed. We're not talking the talk, we're walking the walk, and that makes a difference. There's a lot of people out there that are selling stuff, but what we're doing is giving you an opportunity, because here's the thing. There's a lot of you that are facing situations, circumstances in your life that are very similar to where I came from, what had happened to me. And that's why I keep saying, if this kind of success can happen to me, it can happen to you. And that's why I felt passionate about this. And literally, when me and the boys started talking, because I was like, I found this one guy, and he was in the group, and in Andy's group, and he didn't know he wasn't ready to go PL, and couldn't make that transition, but he's kind of wandering around in the RA. He wasn't. And I literally found him in a store, and he kind of sought me out, and I just gave him some free coaching right there in the store. And then, later when I told him what my sales were, just because he was asking, he was like, well, how do you know this? How do you know? I said, well, we've done this and we've done this. And he's like, whoa. And, so when you have access to that, you have the access to that information, you have access to that opportunity, your momentum is building so fast that you can move on into PL and go much faster than you thought you could.
And one thing I wanted to add is that part of me wishes that, hey, I should have started private label like right away with Amazon. But then at the same time, I know that a lot of my learning on how to do Amazon the right way came because I started with retail arbitrage, because I talked to a lot of sellers, and I talked to sellers that kind of started out with private label, and they don't know, somebody recently told me, oh, I didn't know you can send multiple things at the same time, create a shipment. I thought you can only do one thing at a time, or like understanding bestseller rank. And a lot of these things that you learn when you do RA scanning are really good, useful skills and knowledge to know for when you kind of transition into, wholesale or private label. And so I'm kind of thankful for the time I spent doing RA, because it really helped me get a really good understanding for Amazon and mistakes and how to ship stuff in, and a lot of the stuff that you want to know when you're doing any other kind of model that, I think if you have the capital, starting out with PL is fine, but there's a lot of things that you learn, from doing arbitrage, just, starting out and really learning how Amazon works.
That's true. Leron, we met a guy down in Kentucky when y'all were down there. Mm-hmm. And the gentleman, just a fine man, and he had already sunk $18,000 in his first PL product, and he had never even created a shipment on his Amazon account before. Right. So there's so much, just the basics that he did not know, and to this day he's still sitting on that $18,000 worth of inventory because he has no basis. He had no basis. And that is stuck for him. Obviously trying to move in your direction, but
he needed to start with our course.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know, right? And that's what's so important about coaching community or mentorship, teaching community, like you guys present for PL and like we're presenting for RA and OA, is to have that coaching and mentorship where you can ask those questions and make your mistakes when it's little, so you don't make those mistakes. You make your mistakes on $18, not $18,000.
Gaye, Ralph is asking. So Ralph's in our PL, but he wants to have RA and OA sort of on autopilot. Do you have any training, or do you talk about like scaling? How do you go from doing $30,000 a month to $70,000 a month with RA and OA?
Right. Well, and obviously that can be done. One of the things that you have to do is find those niches that keep paying out. For example, shoes is a niche that keeps paying out. A lot of sellers took a hit with this Nike situation happening. And so where do you go from there? Well, there's lots of other niches that you can go to from there. And one of the things is learning those stores, just like we spoke about at the very, very beginning in the webinar, knowing how to go into certain stores. You're like, this store, I'm heading straight to handbags and shoes. This store, I'm heading straight to kitchenware. This store, I'm heading straight to this section, women's undergarments, et cetera, et cetera. And also the thing that I'm always amazed by, and let me say this real quick. I'm always amazed by people who think they're restricted in as many brands as they think they're restricted in, and they're not really. They just haven't requested anything different. They haven't requested anything differently. And so I'm challenging in the group, just go to your Amazon seller account and go to add a product and start typing in brand names. Type in the North Face. I just did that today, because I saw another store that was having a closeout on some North Face products and still looked really good, and the ranks were really good on it. I was like, oh, North Face. Oh, wait, I'm restricted in North Face. Then I clicked listing limitations apply. Boom, popped up the screen. You're approved to sell in this brand now. Thank you for requesting that, et cetera, et cetera. I'd never requested it before. But if I'd have been in a store scanning North Face, I would have passed on by those products because I would have thought that I'm restricted in it. I can't do anything about it. But because I went to the add a product and started typing in, one night I sat down in both of our accounts and typed in probably 50 different brand names. Me and Colleen just sat side by side with our computers and just did it. We typed in 50, maybe more than that, brand names, and got unrestricted, 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 unrestricted. And it doesn't work that way for everybody in every brand, but there are many brands that you can get unrestricted in automatically right now, but you're restricted in because you haven't asked. You have not because you asked not.
And one thing, just to add to that, Ralph, we have some some sellers that also that are in our PL that do several $1 million in RA and OA, and what they do is they have shoppers, so you can get a shopper, put them in the group, and train them, and you can have a VA who does the online stuff, and I think that's the first way to kind of try to scale that business.
Also, another way is, a lot of people start to find out that they get good at the sourcing, finding products, but then they less and less enjoy the packaging and the sending out products to themselves, right? So a lot of people, especially with OA, will start using prep centers or these places where you can send that inventory, and they'll actually send it into Amazon for you on your behalf, right? It's a little tougher with RA to do that. But with OA, that's one way, and you might already be doing that, Ralph, but that's one way that some people will scale their business by being able to do that.
Yeah. We have friends that they have gift cards. They buy gift cards, and there's a way to buy them where you can get points also, so you're stacking points, or you can stack those for points towards your gasoline, even to use for RA. But they send out their trained VAs, and they have kind of a circuit that they run. This one goes north, this one goes west, and they have a circuit that runs a certain number of stores, and they have got the criteria. So they're trained VAs, and they literally do RA for them. And so they have that gift. They have those gift cards or credit cards, whatever limit there is. And they're charged with, or, just like we charge our VAs with finding a certain number of daily finds a day, they're charged with finding a certain number of, a certain amount of inventory every day. $1,000 worth of inventory in this category that ranks at this. So RA and OA can be scaled up. I've got another friend, and he packs up and he goes out and he does like a whole week. And he's got a circuit, and he's out there living out the west where he's got to travel a bazillion miles to get anywhere, and 75 miles to get to a grocery store from where he lives, and makes an excellent living and awesome at doing RA only, and he just kind of just dinks with OA, but he just loves to be out there and scan. So RA is not dead, OA is not dead, and we continue to prove that over and over again.
Hey, so I just want to say, it looks like we might be getting to that cap of the membership. The current one can try to keep getting in, and the link actually will be the same, right? So if you're watching the replay of this talk and it's all filled up, you still will go to amazingfreedom.com/arbitrage. And instead of a sign up link, it might just say, put your name on the waiting list. Even if that's full, you're going to want to put your name on that list because, as we mentioned previously, the goal is once we can really get our list, we'll actually create a separate list for, the second round of people that are basically let in. So there will always be this high quality list that's sent to a limited number of people. There might just be 2 separate ones, right? Eventually. But right now there's just the one. So if you're one in now, you're going to have to try to sign up. The spots might be coming to a close here soon. And if you're watching the replay days from now or whatever, you still want to go to amazingfreedom.com/arbitrage and put your name on that waiting list, because what we do is we actually do it on a first come, first serve basis. So if someone decides that, they've used this group to really, scale themselves up and they want to move on from the current atmosphere, or they had some kind of life change and they just need to get out for a month or whatever, you will just basically get an email in the order that you signed up to be on the waiting list, right? So usually the email will give you 24 hours to sign up, because usually there is such a waiting list that we need to do it quickly. So you might get the email and it'll say, hey, if you want to join Gaye's group, you can do so in the next 24 hours. And after that, it's going to be closed. You basically go to the bottom of the waiting list again, right? So you want to get on that waiting list, and then you want to watch out for that email that will let you know that you're able to get into the group. We have a question saying, I am signed up, but I'm unable to join the group. So yeah, if you did just sign up tonight, the group is set to secret mode because it's a close-knit community. So you will have to actually reach out to Gaye on Facebook or one of us and just say, hey, I signed up. And because we're all on this right now, it's kind of hard for us to get everyone in. But just reach out and we'll try to send emails after this as well. And just say I signed up, and we'll verify that, and then we'll get you in the group. Carrie said, is the email automatic or a bit of a lag? I signed up and no email yet. You should get an email right away, right when you sign up, but it could be a little bit of a lag if, just depending on your email provider or whatever. So you should get an email pretty soon inviting you. But again, that email actually won't even allow you to get in. We'll have to reach out to you and send you a personal invitation to join the group too.
Well, you can just PM us or something like that, and we'll make sure we click add. We'll get you in there, get you in going quickly as we can. Hey, Nate, can you ask Andy what's up with his outfit?
Yeah. So Andy, why don't you actually, guys, I think we got most of it out. You want to go to amazingfreedom.com/arbitrage. I think we can end on this. We gave some good tips, especially, back to school. Look at those. Andy, why don't you close us out actually talking about your Amazon shirt, what that means, and actually something cool that a member of Gaye's group is going to get, right?
Sure. Yeah. So I actually posted on my wall, sharing the webinar tonight on how to sell millions of dollars on Amazon. And the reason I posted that is you're looking at 4 people right now that have sold multi-millions of dollars on Amazon. So if you're just getting started out or you've been selling for a while, you're going to hear from us, right? If you just jumped on the webinar, go back, you want to watch the whole thing. The crazy thing to me is, and I'll get into the shirt in a second, is we all come from different backgrounds. Nathan lives in Michigan. Liron lives in New York City. Gaye lives near Branson, Missouri. I live in Hershey, Pennsylvania. But we've all stumbled on this thing called Amazon, right? And so that's my shirt. Is actually, there's only 2 shirts like this in all of the world. I bought this from Chris Green. Actually, I donated $200 to one of his fundraisers, and that's how I got this shirt. And so we all stumbled on this thing called Amazon. And here's the crazy thing. And this is what you got to catch tonight. All right. If you want to build a business from your home, the 4 of us will tell you without a doubt, the best way to do that is begin a Amazon selling business, right? All 4 of us here started part-time. We started just selling slowly. I often tell my story, my history. The first year I sold $120,000 part-time. I had a full-time job. The next year I sold $400,000. The third year, right, I was full-time. I sold $900,000. The fourth year I sold $1.8 million. Now those are like really big numbers, right? But what you got to hear is this. It is I personally still believe it is a gold rush opportunity to begin selling on Amazon. Does that mean it's easy? Absolutely not. The four of us here will tell you we probably work 16 or 17 hours a day, but we enjoy it, right? So people enjoy different things. I actually just made a post on my personal Facebook wall during this webinar that I had a confession to make. So I said, everybody sit down for this. Are you ready? I've never watched a Game of Thrones clip or a Game of Thrones episode. All right. In my life, I never have. And man, like as soon as I said that, you guys, you have to go to my post. There are like tons of comments. Well, you know what? If you like Game of Thrones, that's great, right? You know, if that's your hobby, that's phenomenal. For me, selling on Amazon is so much fun that even working, it doesn't seem like work, right? So, you know, just the things that we're talking about tonight, that you can go to Walmart and buy a toy and then sell it for 3 times the price you paid. It's just fun, plain and simple. It's a great way to build a business, and it's a ton of fun. And so, you know, if you're just starting out, or even if you've been doing it for a while, I can tell you without a doubt, the best group that I've seen on teaching retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, getting into wholesale, because Gaye is getting into wholesale as well, and PL, there's no better group than Gaye's group. And so, you know, if you're thinking about that, you definitely want to look at that link, amazingfreedom.com, arbitrage, and you want to join up. This shirt that there's only 2 of in the world, I am giving in December. I will give to them. Actually, we'll make it on January 1st. We're going to give this to the member that we feel has grown the most in Gaye's group. And so, you know, if you're a level 301 seller, maybe you're already doing $1 million a year, but you're in a group, but we feel you've grown, you know, you've taken bigger steps, then you'll get the shirt. If you're just starting out, right, but we see your hustle and we see that you're really growing, then you'll get the shirt. And so you will have there's only 2 of these. You will have it, and maybe I can get Ron and Nate to sign it as well as Gaye, and you'll have your very own Amazon shirt. This is my lucky Amazon shirt. So that's it. Look, I encourage you guys. The quote that I often give is, the best time to start selling on Amazon was 15 years ago. The second best time is right now. All right. So take action. Hey, you guys, thanks a lot for hanging out with us tonight. We're going to go ahead and end the webinar. Nate, unless you have anything else to say.
No, I think that ends it well. Gaye, thanks for coming on with us and sharing your expertise. And yeah, guys, if you are interested, again, last time there's the link, amazingfreedom.com/arbitrage. Whether you make the deadline for the current group or not, you want to sign up to get in or on the wait list. So that's it. And then we'll see you, Gaye, on the webinar where we talk about how to make awesome Amazon listings and, you know, whatever else we have planned with you here soon.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'll see you on Wednesday.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.